If you have your vet appointment booked and you're dreading getting your cat into the carrier, then this is the video for you. Lots of cats are scared of the carrier, and it's not uncommon for when you go to find them to just find a little pair of glow-in-the-dark eyes as far under the bed as they can get. And you're having to resort to drastic measures to try and pull them out or drive them out in some way, and it can just be a disaster trying to get them in the carrier. So there are a couple of reasons for this. Firstly is that when they go in the carrier, they have no control. So they don't have any choice as to when they go in, how long they're in there for, or where they're going to go or what they're going to do. So this lack of control really makes them feel unsettled and can cause them to panic. Secondly is that they often have a previous or have had a previous bad experience in this carrier. So they set up negative associations. So if every time they go in the carrier, they go to the vets, which involves a scary car ride, sitting in the waiting room, which is scary if there's other animals there, and an examination by a stranger, then you can see why next time they won't be so keen to go into the carrier. This can mean that they're stressed before we even get going. So you're going to be stressed because you've had to round them up and get them into the carrier. They're going to be stressed because they're having a terrible time in this box that they hate. And your vet's going to have a terrible time trying to now handle a super stressed cat. So it can really be helpful to try and get them into the carrier easily and to keep stress to a minimum. So the best way to do that is to train them to go into the carrier, but it takes time and effort and it takes a long time. So if you've got to get your cat to the vets in a pinch, then this is how I recommend getting your cat into the carrier easily. Step one is to go and get the carrier right now. Like, stop what you're doing, pause the video, go and get your carrier and bring it into the house. So the reason for this is that lots of people keep their carriers away. So that could be in the loft, in the cupboard in your bedroom, in the garage, and so they're having to go and get the carrier and bring it in. And if you're anything like me, then when you bumble in through the door, it knocks into things and it makes a really loud noise, and your cat knows exactly what it is that you've brought in, and that's the moment that they disappear. So what we want is this initial panic to wear off and to bring those stress levels right down before we even try to get them in the carrier. So it's a very low pressure situation. It's just here. It doesn't mean anything. We're not going to the vets immediately. And they've got time to get used to that and to think, oh, I thought we were going to the vets, but actually we're not. So we're giving them time for those arousal levels to come down, for them to come out of their hiding place, get back to normal, and just feel a bit settled. So the more time you can give this, the better. So if your appointment is in 2 hours' time, do it now. But I'm not sure how, depending on how super scared your cat is, it might not be long enough for that initial fear to wear off. But if your appointment's tomorrow, or if it's in a week's time, then still bring it in now, and then you've got lots of time for that initial shock to wear off of suddenly I've seen the carrier, but oh, okay, actually nothing's happening. Step two is to get your carrier ready. So I recommend the large plastic carriers with a wire door at one end. I tend to find that's easiest to get them in and out. We want the carrier to smell reassuring and familiar. So put something in there that they've slept on, like a blanket, an item of your clothing, or if their beds are not too big, then sometimes you can squish them down and stick them at the bottom as well. So that can be really useful. Place your carrier on a raised surface, and this is so that you can easily get them into the carrier when the time comes. So you don't want to be having to get down onto floor level to scoop them in, because that's going to be much more difficult for you to manage. So you could place it on a desk, a dressing table, a worktop or a kitchen table, whatever's practical, but it should be somewhere that your cat is able to go, because we really want them, in the time between now and your appointment, we really want them to be able to explore the carrier and get to know it and not be so scared about it, and for that novelty to wear off. So maybe leave some treats inside to encourage them to explore, and leave them to it. Like, don't pay them any attention. Don't just let them explore in their own time, because that confidence will come when they're like, oh, okay, this is not so scary, and I can come and go when I want to. I can go in and out. It's a zero pressure situation, and they have that control and they're in charge. So this can really help bring their stress levels down when it's time to actually go. Step three is to get your cat into the carrier. So hopefully enough time has passed now with step one and step two that you have a calm, relaxed, happy cat that's acting business as usual. They're not suspicious. Their behavior is totally normal. This is the best time to get them into the carrier. So if you have a cat that's comfortable being picked up, or you can pick up without them getting upset or you getting hurt, then this is the perfect time. And the golden rule is to pick up your cat and take them to the carrier. Don't pick up your carrier and take it to the cat. Because what you'll find is that once your cat sees you holding the carrier, That fear response will be triggered, and you'll be back at square one with them hiding under the bed and you trying to drag them out in time for your appointment. So nonchalantly take them down to the carrier, and yes, there will be a moment just before you put them in that they're like, oh no, it's the carrier, and they might not want to go in. So make sure you gently place them inside, but do it swiftly and close that door behind you. So your hand might still be in there as you push the door closed, and then just slide your hand out as you close it, because probably they'll try to get out if they can. So just be careful they don't burst back out before you've had time to secure the door. If your cat is not able to be picked up, then you could try luring them in with something really super smelly and tasty. So maybe a little bit of tuna or some ham, something that smells really good and that they love. So you can put that on a teaspoon at the back of the carrier, or if you've got a carrier with little slits around the edge, then you can post things in at the back and encourage them to go inside. In all honesty, lots of cats get wise to that. So it may work in the first instance, but I wouldn't rely on that as an ongoing thing. If your cat is so scared that this hasn't worked, they still just will not let you put them into the carrier and you're not able to get them in, but your vet appointment is approaching, then I would just give your vet a ring and explain what's happening. You absolutely won't be alone. Lots of vets will have experienced this before. So just explain that that's the case. That's much better than trying to constantly keep trying to hunt your cat down. I've definitely seen people that have either hurt their cat, tried to grab them and get them in just out of desperation and sheer panic that the appointment's going to be missed, or the cat has hurt somebody because they're fed up of being chased, they've ended up scratching or biting, and it sort of almost breaks down the relationship there a little bit. So that's what we want to avoid, and as long as it's not super urgent vet appointment, then hopefully it's something that we can postpone and work on the carrier training. But it's these cats that flat out refuse to go in. They definitely need to engage in some proper carrier training, which I will create a new video on that, or you can visit the website of International Cat Care because they have lots of advice on carrier training on there. If this method worked for you or you've always used this technique, then do let me know in the comments. And if you know anyone who's struggling to get their cat into a carrier, then do feel welcome to send this video their way, and hopefully it can help as many people as possible. Thank you for joining me. Do subscribe if you would like to know more about your cat's behaviour, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye. Cute adorables. As per usual. Lovely. You're adorable.